What's going on, dudes and dude Ed? So it looks like both the Chargers and the Ravens are going to be a couple of trade suitors for the defensive linemen with the Washington Commanders and Johnathan Allen. He was a first-round pick a handful of years ago, and I guess there's just been some turmoil happening in that program, and I guess he just finally wants to leave because I know they had a pretty nice run of like top Alabama defensive linemen picked to that team, but that's just because of how bad they've been and how bad they still are. So I guess he might be requesting a trade as of right now, and it looks like the Chargers are maybe in the mix. You never know. I don't even think they have enough money to be able to do it unless they're sending somebody else out somewhere else to another team or to that same Washington team. You never know, but it would be a pretty big-time pickup if they're able to get him on the roster. So looking forward to that if it does end up happening. And the Lakers did make it official with some of their two-way contracts during the week. I think they made it to a lot of all the guys that are undrafted pretty much, and one guy who's returning from last year. It was Blake Hinson, the forward from Pittsburgh, the forward from France, Armel Traore, and also Colin Castleton, the power forward / center who was on the team last year on a two-way deal. So I guess they thought highly enough of him to return. So I guess he's doing pretty good and improving. He did pretty good in that first Summer League game up there in the Cali Classic, but I don't really know how anybody did in that second game. Didn't really care to watch the highlights, and I think they might be playing within the next couple of days or so, so maybe I will check it out around that time. But either way, those are at least the three guys now that you can have on two-way contracts for NBA rosters. A 2025 three-star defensive lineman / tight end has committed to Duke football. I believe his name is Baritali Kara. I know I'm getting that first name wrong, but yes, I guess he's a pretty talented guy from out there on the East Coast, and he is committed to Duke football for next season. So looking forward to seeing how good he is once he gets on campus. And I think a couple more ex-Duke Blue Devils made it to a couple of other summer league teams. I believe it was Alex O'Connell, the shooting guard. He made it to the New York Knicks summer league, and then DJ Stewart as well made it to the Chicago Bulls summer league. So that's pretty cool for him because he's from Chicago, so he's going to be able to play for his home team and hopefully be able to make that roster on some type of deal. So congrats to those guys. An ex-Duke basketball player, Marquise Bolden, the center, was waived by the Charlotte Hornets, so I guess he's going to be looking for a new team, whether it's in the NBA or overseas. I remember he had that pretty big 50-point game overseas, and he was able to sign with one of those teams in the NBA pretty quickly after that, so maybe he sticks around, but as of right now I haven't heard of anywhere he is signing, so good luck to him. And I believe a player who was on that under-18 women's Team USA team that I forgot to mention, who was actually from Duke basketball. Her name is Ari Roberson, and she was part of that gold medal team that was also with Kaylee Heiko and Kennedy Smith, who are going to USC. So obviously a lot of the more talented women, especially under 18, are going to a couple of my schools, so definitely very excited about the future for some of those teams. And speaking of the Team USA men's schedule coming up, I think they're just more like showcases / exhibition type of games, so these don't really count because they're already in to the Olympics, but I think they're just going to get some run against a couple of these pretty good teams out there. I believe they first start off on July 10th versus Canada. That's going to be a tough team in the Olympics. Then they play again July 15th against Australia, another tough team. July 17th against Serbia, July 20th against South Sudan, and then July 22nd as well against Germany. So yeah, pretty good, tough schedule hitting in to the Olympics. I doubt they're going to be playing some of their best players this full time that they're playing those games, but it is a nice run-up because a lot of these guys haven't been playing for a couple of months, except any guys who are from Boston or Dallas as well who made it on the team. I think it's only Jason Tatum who made it from that group. Maybe Drew Holiday as well, another Boston Celtic, but that's pretty much it. So we'll see how they do. Don't really expect much from them, just hoping for some pretty good and entertaining basketball before the Olympics officially start. And a PFF analyst did a top 10 of the AFC top offensive lines in that conference, and it looks like the Chargers are ranked number 7 on that list, which is pretty good, but if you compare it to like the full NFL, they're probably still in the middle of the pack when it comes to how good their offensive line is. But at least they're still getting recognized and have at least some talent there that is getting recognized too, and hopefully that will be able to gel together and hopefully make a pretty good team, at least for this season coming up, because I was pretty high, and then I see a lot of people who are even thinking higher of the Denver Broncos, which is pretty crazy with the rookie quarterback who they got in the first round and a lot of just bad play from the past couple of years from that team, and they all of a sudden expect them to be a playoff team. I don't really understand that. I understand it more with the Chargers as long as they can stay healthy, because that's always been their Achilles heel, pun intended. But either way, looking forward to seeing how the season goes for my LA Chargers. And to finish this video off, I want to do a couple of mock trades that I was able to do to get a couple of the guys that apparently the Lakers have been interested in and are targeting, but was able to work out something pretty well and made it pretty good for all teams, especially when they wanted certain players back, like a D'Lo or something like that. I think it really worked out. I had a couple that had Wendell Carter Jr. from the Magic, but I don't know. I guess he's not really in trade talks. It's more of like a hope that the Lakers are looking at least Lakers fans are, that they would trade for him because it's an easy contract. So I took those off and did some other ones that are a bit more realistic in my opinion, but it also helps out in roster spots and it saves them money too, so they're able to at least sign a couple more guys, whether it's a regular contract and a minimum contract or something like that. So get into the first one. So in that first one, I have the Lakers getting Dorian Finney-Smith from the Nets and Walker Kessler from the Utah Jazz. The Nets get D'Angelo Russell and Cam Reddish plus 2025 second round pick. And the Jazz get Jalen Hood-Schifino, Christian Wood, and the 2030 first round pick, or whatever the case is for whatever they can. I forget if it's like 29 or 2030, whichever one they could end up sending out later in the future. But when it comes to that, the Lakers are able to open up 2 roster spots and save a little over $10 million in cap space, which is pretty cool. So it gives them some wiggle room, because then they're able to sign a player like a Gary Trent Jr. or a Luke Kennard or even a Tyus Jones if they really wanted to now, because they're down a couple of point guards at that position after making some moves to trade away guys at that position. But it kind of, whatever tickles their fancy and what they definitely need in the market as of right now. And you just hope that if you can kind of work out a deal where you try to ask one of those 3 players who wants to sign a deal no matter what, and who is willing to take a veteran minimum deal, which I believe any of those 3 players can supposedly take. I know all of them don't want to do that, but there might be a reason why all these 3 guys have not been able to sign contracts yet with their teams too, or any other teams in the NBA. So maybe you could wait it out, and hopefully they kind of feel like they have no other choice, and then they're able to join a team that's at least going to be believing that they can contend for the NBA championship this season coming up with the Lakers. So maybe they will end up signing that veteran minimum deal, because I don't think you could split up that $10 million or so to do to 2 different contracts. I don't think so, but I guess we'll see what they can do. But that's kind of the way I see it. And I think there's also like a thing where I thought that they might have been wanting Spencer Dinwiddie over Jackson Hayes, but I know they want Jackson Hayes over like a Christian Wood type of player, even a Cam Reddish, which is why I have both of them going out in this deal. But if you really feel like you need a point guard, say if you don't get Tyus Jones, then you can let go of Hayes, stretch out his contract, and you should have enough room to sign Dinwiddie to a veteran minimum if he's willing to do that and stick with the Lakers, which I heard he wants to at least stick around. I don't know if he wants to stick around for that cheap of a deal, but if it all works out in the end, then I think these couple of moves can add to what the Lakers are building, and hopefully, it'll be a good thing overall. And with this mock draft, I think a little bit more of a serious first round pick going out, and I think more multiple picks. I think second round picks will be able to do the trick, especially with what you're giving up to which certain teams and what you're getting back in return. But still, in this scenario, the Lakers get Dorian Finney-Smith, but then now they also get Kyle Kuzma from the Washington Wizards. The Wizards get Rui Hachimura and Jalen Hood-Schifino, and the Nets get D'Angelo Russell and Christian Wood as well in this scenario. And obviously, I want to say a first round pick to Washington, and then second round picks to maybe both or either the Nets. But yeah, definitely some second round picks going out in this scenario. That's why I think the Nets will be cool with second round picks, because they're getting a player that they actually still like in D'Angelo Russell. They're looking for some sort of reunion with him, which they were still kind of okay with him getting traded there if the Lakers were able to pull off a certain trade. But this way, they get an older player off their books. For the next couple of years, he goes to the Lakers to help them out, and then they get a player that they most likely are going to re-sign after this season coming up, which is pretty cool for both sides. And then Washington, yeah, you kind of still have to give them, for sure, a first-round pick. You could probably still throw in a second-round pick. I don't think Kuzma is worth 2 first-round picks in any scenario. So if they want more than 2, then if it's a pick swap, then that's cool. I don't know exactly when you can do certain years, if you can do it. I know you should be able to do it in between, because I think that's what the Nets, or I think the Knicks recently did with the Nets when it came to Mikal Bridges and a couple of other stuff here and there. So either way, probably a couple of pick swaps later in the future, and not right away, because they would assume the Lakers aren't going to be bad once LeBron and maybe even AD at that time move on from LA. But once again, you still clear up a couple more spots on the roster, still save quite a bit of money. I think a little bit less in this situation. I think I forgot to write that amount down, but either way, you're still able to offer one of those free agents in Trent Jr., Luke Kennard, or Tyus Jones a contract, a pretty good, sizable, regular contract, and then you're able to get the other one on a minimum deal. I doubt 2 of them will sign in a minimum deal, and I don't think you want to release someone like Hayes or whoever's left on your team to stretch out that money just to be able to sign one of them, and that's if one of them wants to come with a veteran minimum, if not both. So we'll see how this goes. I know a lot of moving parts here, which is always the toughest thing to do when it comes to 3-team trades, but it's been working pretty well in some of these trades recently in the NBA that the Lakers are sadly not a part of, but hoping they will be able to do something pretty soon here, and hopefully the market lets up once all the GMs and everybody like that, all the teams get into Vegas for Summer League, and Rob Pelinka can, use the Lakers card and buy a couple of drinks for the GMs and hopefully persuade them to trade some of these players away to the Lakers. And hopefully it works out, because they can't go over that second apron, which they're only like $40-something thousand away. I guess we could say thanks to LeBron, even though he probably could have sent more back, but he just left them a little bit of enough space to be able to do something in a trade owing now, instead of being able to sign a player or anything like that. But this is how the Lakers get better. It's through trades. Hopefully these 2 mock drafts ease some of the minds of Lakers fans, at least for the near future, if they do end up happening. So thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.